Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet application. It's all about analyzing data using formulas and functions to do so. When it comes to entering those formulas and functions in Excel 2003 versus Excel 2010, there are some differences, so we're going to talk about those now. Starting here in Excel 2003, we've got an expense report open, and we're going to go to the cell where we want a daily average. In this case, it's going to be a formula that calculates the average of the amount here in the totals column spent for each day. Well, in Excel 2003, you really had to know your formulas and functions. You might have a printout of them beside you, you might memorize them, and in any case, you would start with the equal sign and then you'd start typing in your actual formula. So in this case, we want to average. Let's try AVG, maybe that's what we need. And then an open round bracket to get the range of cells we want to average. We could type in the range, which in this case would be M11 through M16, or we could click and drag across those cells. And then we need the closing round bracket here to finish off our formula. And then we could press enter to see the answer. Now you can see what happens here. We see a message indicating we've typed it in wrong. There is an error in the formula. Now Excel 2003 was pretty good at figuring out what you meant to do. In this case, you could see the correct formula is the full word, average. So you click yes to change it or correct it, and you do get your answer. So we're spending about $276 each day on this expense report. Let's flip over now to Excel 2010 and try the exact same thing. So here's our spreadsheet. We've got the same figures in there. We click in the cell where we want the daily average to appear. We start with the equal sign just like we did in Excel 2003. But look what happens when we start typing our formula. We type the letter A, and you can see a list pops up of all of our formulas that start with the letter A. We'll type in a V as an average, and you can see that list is narrowed down to all of the formulas and functions beginning with AV. And we can move across these by clicking them or using your cursor keys, and you'll see a brief description of what the formula does, just to give you a little more information. And once you've got the one that you need highlighted, like we do here, average, you just press the tab key, and it inserts it for you, plus the opening round bracket. And you get this hint down below indicating you need a range of cells. So we can do the exact same thing here, and that's to click and drag over those cells. And we'll finish it off by closing it with that closing round bracket and press enter. So we get the same answer, but we didn't get the error because we're prompted along the way, given hints along the way of what we should be entering for our formulas. Now, of course, there are some new formulas and functions that are available in Excel 2010 that never existed in Excel 2003, and that's a good reason for getting those hints. And if you try to use any of those formulas in Excel 2003 that don't exist, you just simply get a name error, whereas here you're prompted along the way to select from a list of formulas and functions. Now that's a feature that is turned on by default. So if you're not seeing those little hints or what we call autocomplete for you, you need to go to the Backstage view by clicking the File tab and then select Options. Now we're going to come over here into our navigation pane and click Formulas. And here under Working with Formulas, you'll see the second checkbox is checked off by default, Formula Autocomplete. If you don't have a check mark and you do like that feature, just click the checkbox to add it and then click OK. And going forward, you'll always be given those hints, and your formulas you'll find are a little bit easier to create, and you're going to come across less errors.